Okay, so we're going to be talking about transformations. So just like Transformers, you know, all the little cars that transform themselves into like superheroes and bad guys. Okay, kind of same thing. A transformation, you are literally changing the form of the object that you're working with. By the way, up here, a translation up at the top, I'm up here, is a slide. A reflection is a flip or a mirror. And a rotation is a turn. You might want to write those down. I'm going to be really honest, except for a very small part, except for one thing, this unit is pretty much what we did. Like, I literally taught this in 8th grade math not too long ago. So it's not new information. Okay, there's only one thing that's really new. These types right here, a slide, a flip, and a turn, they are called rigid transformations because they're rigid in size. They don't get bigger or smaller. They just stay the same shape, same size. So they're rigid. Okay, so we're going to be talking about those. A transformation in and of itself is an operation. So we're going to add, subtract, maybe we'll multiply. Okay, an operation that maps, in other words, you're putting a one-to-one, like this point goes with that new point, onto an original figure. You can call this the old one. Okay, now the correct term for that in math is called the pre-image. Okay, so the old one, the original, is the pre-image. And the new figure is called the image. Okay, a transformation can change the size, the position, or even the shape of a figure. So we take something and we make it new. All right, so one transformation in and of itself is a translation, and this is the one I told you was a slide. Okay, so this is where you're going to slide a figure. You're either going to slide the figure, you're going to slide it left or right. You can slide it up or down, or you can do a combination of left or right and up or down. So you can move it multiple ways, and you can actually move it several, like you can move it 3, 4, 5 times in a series. All right, so symbolically, that means algebra. Okay, that means numbers and letters, like an equation. You're going to write this down on your paper for every single one. This right here represents your pre-image, the original. Okay? That piece right there. All right, now this part of the equation over here, and it's really not an equation, it's more like a notation. This part, so after the arrow, okay, you're going to write x plus or minus, stack them on top of each other, plus or minus a is a number, by the way, comma, and then you'll have y plus or minus b, and b is also a number. So A and B are just numbers, but since we don't, this is a generic rule, then we're just writing A and B, okay? So the plus or minus A, that is moving left or right. The plus or minus B, that is the up or down. Okay. Left is going to be minus, right is going to be plus, up is a plus, down is a minus. Okay. And those things make sense if you think about your number lines. Okay. Left, right, up, and down. So A, plus or minus A, it's going to represent, the left and right is what we call a horizontal shift. Horizontal shift. That means you're going left or right. But we will call it a horizontal shift. Kind of like when you sit down on the couch and then you shift to the left of wherever you sat down and you move to the left or the right. You're shifting on the couch. Same way. Okay, plus or minus B represents the vertical shift. Okay, and that's where you're going to move up or down. So what you think about going up or down a flight of stairs. You are vertically shifting your body from one location to another. Okay, down here, we're going to talk some more about these rules. They look like lines. They're more like arrows, and these arrows indicate movement. These arrows are telling you the direction. All right? So down here, this is what direction, and it's telling you how far, like as in a number. Okay? So what direction and how far? That's what these are. And they have a funny little symbol above it. If you look really closely, okay, it looks like, here's my S, and then it's got this bar, but then it's got like a hook, almost like a barbed fish hook, right? So it's kind of got this curved arrow, but only half of it. That's what is above each of those letters. That symbol is letting you know that this line, it's not like a y equals mx plus b. This is a movement. I'm taking one thing and I'm moving it to another spot. All right, we're going to write some stuff in this box over here. So the first thing I want you to write that rule down that we did. You're going to be putting 1, 2, 3, you're going to be putting 5 things in here, so don't write ginormous. So x comma y, arrow, and I want you to write down x plus or minus a, comma, y plus or minus b. So this is the generic rule. Okay, that rule applies to everything. All right, now let's talk about each one of these movements. And we're going to write them down in here. Okay, so I'm going to have the S with the little hook, and then we'll go to T, and then U, and then V. So I'm going to be putting the info down here. 4 lines worth, okay? This little dot right here, this little dot is going to be moving in this direction. Now, in order to make the diagonal happen, this diagonal movement, what is actually going on? Well, it's moving this dot at the same time that it's moving to the right. It is also moving down, and that's what generates that diagonal. Okay? So to tell me the movement, I know that I'm going 3 to the right, and then I'm going 2, I'm sorry, you know what? These are going by 2s if I look here. We're going 6 to the right. Sorry about that. And then we're going 4 down. You guys agree? Okay, so that dot that's right here, it will slide right down here to this arrow. Okay, this would be the end. This would be the beginning. Okay, so the beginning is where there is no arrow. The end is where there is an arrow. The arrow is pointing to the end. So, in order to write a rule for that movement, you would write down x comma y arrow, and then we're going to fill in numbers for A and B. I'm going to write x, and then do you see this 6? I moved 6 to the right, so it would be x plus 6, comma, and then I'm going to do y minus 4, because I went down, right? We went 6 to the right, and we went 4 down. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're putting those numbers in that spot. That's the A and the B. Okay, let's go to T. All right, let's put our little, this is my beginning. All right, now, am I going to the left or the right? How many to the left? I'm going 2 to the left, so I'm going this way. And then how many up? Then I'm going 6 up. Okay, so here's the rule. Ready? X comma Y arrow, that comes first. Don't ever leave that part off. And then you're going to write x minus 2, because we went to the left, and y plus 6. You could also kind of double check. A positive 6 is going in that direction on the number line. Negative 4 is going down. Negative 2 is going that way on a number line, and 6 is going up. So you can always write some directional arrows to help you just kind of check your work. So that was T. All right, let's do U. Here's the beginning, and here's the end. So how many to the left? How many to the left? Okay, so 10 to the left, and how many down? Okay, so that's the movement, right? And if we go that way and that way at the very same time, that's what creates that diagonal. So, x comma y arrow, x minus 10 and y minus 8. 10 is going to the left because it's negative. Y is going down because it's negative, or subtraction. All right, and then we have one more. It's right here. This is V. Here's my end here, or beginning. Now, is it going left or right? No. So that would be 0, right? But how many up is it going? Yeah, it's going up 4. So x comma y, and then an arrow. So then x plus 0, we're not going left or right at all, but we are going up 4. How you doing out there?
Good.
You awake?
Yeah.
Okay. See that word versus? We're going to write these rules a different way over here. Okay? So coordinate notation, if you see those words, coordinate notation, and most students just write it like this because it's consistent. Okay? Component form is like a short, kind of like an abbreviation of that. Okay, so do you see all of these? Okay, so just the numbers, just the A and the numbers, and then here just the B and the numbers. Okay, that's what we'll focus on when we write in component form. Now component form, I need you to be really careful because these are parentheses, right? Yes, curved. Okay, over here, you're going to be making them like this, like arrows. You are not allowed to put parentheses on this side because it's not an ordered pair. You have to use the arrows, the pointed ones. So this right here, I'm going to put arrows here. I need a comma in between. And in fact, just go ahead and do that all the way down. We'll just save some time. So I'm making these little pointed brackets, and I'm putting a comma in between. Kind of like I would if there was an ordered pair. Now over here, these numbers that I highlighted in green, those are the numbers that are going left to right, correct? These are the numbers that are going left to right?
Yeah.
And these are the numbers that are going up and down.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what's going to happen over here. The first number is going to be the left or right. The second number is going to be the up or down. And you literally just put the number. Or in this is the rule. Plus or minus A, plus or minus B. That's the shorthand. Okay, so over here in these answers, do you see these answers right there? Do you see that my numbers here? I have a 6 and a -4, right? And it's really not a -4, it's really subtraction. So I'm adding 6 and I'm subtracting 4. So I write that down. I'm adding 6 and I'm subtracting 4. In the next row, I am subtracting 2 to go to the left. And I am adding 6 to go up. In the third row, I am subtracting 10 to go to the left, and I am subtracting 8 to go down. These are not ordered pairs. This is movement along a number line. That's what this is, movement on a number line. Okay, and then here, I'm not moving left or right at all, but I am adding 4 so that I can go up. Okay, so this is your movement. Okay, an ordered pair with the parentheses, that's a location. And that's different. This is a location. This is a movement. All right, when you're ready, you can flip your page. Okay, now, this is where it's going to get tedious, and I need you to stay the course. None of this is going to be difficult. It's just going to be a lot of steps. Okay? All right. I'm just going to kind of do the left side of the page. This is kind of one of everything that you might see for translations. Okay? So translations, that's this page. I'm just going to do the left side. All right, you might be given the pre-image. This is the old one. Okay? You might be given that old one. And you're going to have to draw the new one. So this is my old. And you're going to have to draw the new one. Well, how do we do that? Well, first I look at this right here. That tells me my movement. How many to the right am I going? So just like on the previous page. How many to the right? 4 boxes, so I'm going 4 to the right. And then am I going up or down? And how many up? So then I'm going to go up 2. So that's my movement. So I have to write the rule. Ready? Okay. X comma Y arrow. And then I'm going to put X plus 4 because I'm going to the right, comma, Y plus 2 because I'm going up. Now that is coordinate notation. That's what this is. Coordinate notation, that's the rule for that shape. The component form is the one where you write these little brackets that are pointed. You have a comma still, but you just write the numbers. I'm going to put a positive 4 because I'm going to the right, and I'm going to put a positive 2 because I am going up. So this is component form. You got to be able to write the movement using both of those rules. It's the same rule. The exact same thing, you're just writing it one and the other. Okay. Then you have to draw the new one. So here's how easy it is. You take A, and you're going to move over 4 and up 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go up 2. Put a new dot, and I want you to write A prime. Remember that A prime, B prime, C prime from middle school? Okay, so that's going to be A prime. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 2. And this will be B prime. And then same thing with this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 2. That dot is C prime. And then you take your ruler and you're going to draw the triangle. If you are at home working on this kind of stuff, use like a debit card or something. Don't freehand the lines. So you're going to draw the new shape, and then you're going to make a pathway. You really just need one. So I'm going to draw a dotted line from A to A prime. You need a minimum of one of those. It's a dotted line. It's like a little pathway. It's like little footprints. Okay, so let's practice it again. Sometimes you'll see all 3 or 4, however many. Sometimes you'll just see one. See, I have a dotted little pathway to go from B to B prime. Huh? What? Nothing? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. And then here, some more little footprints to go from C to C prime. So I want you to think of those dashed lines like footprints, like you were going hiking. Leaving your footprints in the dirt. Okay, so you might have to do that. All right. Another thing that you might have to do is just write the rule. They're both drawn for you. So over here on the right hand side, do you see the little tiny apostrophes? Okay, I would kind of exaggerate those with my pen and make them bigger. This is the new one. And this over here is the old one. Now, if you were to draw your little bitty pathways, everything would match up. Okay? Okay, see my little pathways there? But I want to know what is creating that pathway. I want to know what direction and how far. So, is this shape moving left or right? It's moving to the right. How many is it moving to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do you agree? Going to the right, 7. And then, is it moving up or down? It's moving up. So then once it moves 7 to the right, then it moves how many up? 4. Okay. Those are the numbers that go in the rule. Okay, here we go. X, comma, Y, and then put an arrow. And then new parentheses, x, is it plus 7 or minus 7? Plus 7, comma, y plus or minus 4? Plus 4. So your job on this type of question is to write the rule. So you have to look at the picture and decide, what am I doing to get from the old shape to the new shape? Yes?
Can you do the one with like the triangle brackets on that?
I do want you to write the rule. If it doesn't tell you, if it's not specific, usually rule means coordinate notation. Okay? Usually, rule means coordinate notation. If it just had a line and didn't say rule, basically you choose what you want, you could write your component form, which would be 7, comma 4. There will be times where we tell you, write it in coordinate notation, which is this one, or we'll say, write it in component form, which is that one. So you do have to read really carefully. A lot of times we don't care. A lot of times we don't care. But sometimes we do care. And we really care that these are pointed brackets. They are not parentheses. So if you were to write a parentheses, that would be incorrect, because that would be a location. Okay, down here, it says graph and label each figure and its image under the given translation and give the new coordinates. I'm not going to graph it immediately. I'm actually going to think about, what does this rule mean? Okay, so I have a rectangle here, and it gave you all the ordered pairs for the rectangle. So these are the corners, right? Q, R, S, T. And that is their location. Now, this plus 5, am I moving to the right or the left? I'm moving to the right. And this plus 7, am I going up or down? Okay. So that's what the shape is doing. Okay, so whatever my rectangle is, I'm moving to the right, and then I'm moving up. Okay, that's what's going to happen on the graph, but we're not going to graph it right this second. These are locations, right? So you have an X. All of these are X's, right? And they're going to become new X's based on the rule. You have all of these Y values, and they're going to become new Y values based on the rule. So here's what we're going to do. This is the easiest that I have found. I am literally going to go ordered pair by ordered pair, and I'm going to do all of the X's first. And for every X value, I'm going to add 5 to that number. For instance, this says -6. What is -6 plus 5? It is -1. So that's this one. Here's a -3. -3 plus 5 is 2. So that's that one. I'm just doing the X values. 1 plus 5 is a 6. And -2 plus 5 is 3. So those are just the X values. I took all of the X values and I added 5 to that number. And I came up with new X values. These are the new ones. And I know they're the new ones because they have those little primes there. Okay. All right, let's go get the Y values. So I'm going to add 7, right? Well, here's a -1, and if I add 7 to that, I get 6. The next one is a +1. +1 plus 7, that's 8. The third one, -5. If I add 7, I get 2. So there's that one. And finally, negative 7, and if I add 7, I get 0. These are all my new ordered pairs. Yes, no? Now I can graph the new one and the old one. So I would do that. This graph here is going by 8s. So it's 8 in each direction. Okay, so a negative 6, negative 1. This is Q. Negative 3, positive 1. I'm doing the original ones. I'm doing these up here. I have a 1 and a negative 5. Okay, that's S. And then T is a negative 2, negative 7. Okay, and that's my original rectangle. So I just connect the dots, make the shape. So there's my old shape. That's the original ordered pairs that I was given way up here. So this rectangle right here is that one. Okay. Now I'm going to draw this new one. Okay, so the new one, negative 1, positive 6. Well, here's negative 1 and positive 6 would be right here. So that dot is Q prime. Make sure you put the prime on it. So there's a little prime sitting right there. R prime is 2, 8. That's all the way at the top. That would be R prime. 6, 2. 2, 4, 6, 2 would be right here. That is S prime. And 3, 0 would be T prime. There's my new shape. And then I would connect the dots and make the shape. And they should look like the same shape. Like it shouldn't be a rectangle and then a wonky rectangle. So just be careful when you're graphing. Okay. And then you might have one like this. It says find the coordinates of the image, that means the new one, under the transformation. And then you got the little pointed brackets. Do you see the pointed brackets? Okay, what does positive 6 mean? What are you doing? You're going to the right. That is x plus 6 because we're going to the right. What does negative 11 mean? Okay, that means y take away 11 because we're going down. That's what's happening. So we're going to write the rule. Well, first of all, this one's generic. So I'm literally just going to write x plus 6 and comma y minus 11. And I'm going to use my parentheses. So that's my generic rule. And then I'm going to go write all these new rules. Okay, so these are all going to be ordered pairs. So that will be parentheses with a comma. Now I'm going to go do the same thing I just did. I'm going to find all of my x values. And I'm going to do what with every single x value? I'm going to add 6. That's what this says. It says to add 6 to every x value. Well, what's 3 plus 6?
9.
9. What is 2 plus 6?
8.
And what is 4 plus 6?
10.
So there are all my new x values. And then y take away 11. So I'm going to go find all of my y values. I'm going to take that original number and I'm going to do what? Subtract 11. What is 1 take away 11? Negative 10. What is negative 3 take away 11? Negative 14. Very nice. And then if you look at the very next one, isn't it the same? Yeah. There's only 3 points. What shape do you think this is? It's probably a triangle. Okay? So those are some of the different types of questions we could ask you about translations. All right. I need to talk to you for just a moment about this assignment that is going to come around to you. Okay? You are not doing all of this assignment because we haven't done everything. Okay? So I'm going to go over what I want you to do right now. So don't put anything away yet. You'll have plenty of time to pack up. Just take one and either pass them forward or back. Depends on what row you're in. Okay, very, very quickly. You see how that's a number 1? This one is 2. And then you can see 3, 4. At the very bottom, there's no numbers. So you could put a 5 here and a 6 here. And on the front, I only want you, listen, this is real important. I only want you to do number 3 on the front. We haven't talked about rotations and reflections yet. So do number 3 and then turn it over. So you have 7 and 8. You can do number 8. That's this top right-hand corner. Okay, the ones in the middle are 9 and 10. And this is at the bottom 11 and 12. I do want you to do number 12. So how many are you doing? 3. You're doing number 3, number 8, and number 12. Okay? You could do that pretty quick and not have any homework. Okay? You could save it for later. But I need you to have those 3 finished before you walk in the door. Notice that you have to graph the new image and you have to write the rule. Okay? By the way, look right here. This is going to answer the earlier question. Do you see where this says coordinate rule? So we want this. Are you guys ready? We do not want the pointed brackets. We want this version. Okay? That's what we mean by coordinate rule. So your rule has to look like this. And your job is to find the numbers that go right here where A and B are sitting. And then graph correctly. Please use a straight edge.